With Karen suffering being ignored by a dismissive doctor, desperation sets in as the sisters search for a doctor who cares. When Karen receives the needed attention, a shocking discovery is made. The name of this episode will be Do No Harm, and it airs July 23rd, y'all, next week. So based on the trailer, Zach is asking Andy if she thinks Karen and the twins will be all right. Danny and Sabrina stuck in traffic. I will say they show a car crash or whatever, and I think Sabrina said something about somebody is honking their horn. People are speculating that it's going to be Hudson, that he's going to break out. Aside from that, Zach and Andy finally make it to the hospital, and they supposed to be questioning Fatima about what's going on. Zach's the one that asked her what's going on. Andy asked where is Karen and if everything is okay. Fatima ends up telling them that she's bleeding. She was like, sorry, bleeding or whatever. Everybody in the hospital room trying to check on Karen says it doesn't seem like a normal labor. They show Danny talking to Fatima saying it don't sound right. Miss Lisa said that Karen's getting worse and the doctor is an a-hole. I said, true that. We see that right now. Karen is talking to the doctor saying that it hurts, and he talking about something, I'm sure it does. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, get a new doctor. Y'all got to find somebody at this point, but I think it's going to be too late, y'all. Andy's calling for help. Fatima ends up telling the nurse that they have an emergency, but she still don't care. Karen says she's scared. It's not what she thought it would be. And look like there's a car wreck, like I said earlier. Dr. Cruz is saying Miss Ma experiencing normal labor. Still, he talking to another doctor. Zach want to know what's happening. Andy ends up asking somebody if they're insane. I'm assuming Dr. Cruz. She's supposed to be investigating him if y'all didn't know. Danny said if they don't do something right now, she gonna burn this down. I said, look at Danny. Another doctor is saying he's worried about Karen's vitals, and somebody's saying, what if she dies? Okay, y'all, so I have mixed feelings about this whole storyline. On one hand, I get it, and I think that they need to talk about this storyline about how doctors be ignoring folks, certain folks anyways, and in the result, stuff happens, because they saying she gonna lose one or both of the babies. Now, at first, I started to think that she was gonna die, but they already released a synopsis saying that she deals with postpartum. And on the other side of things, I was like, why do this whole storyline? Make her have two baby daddies instead of just making Aaron the baby daddy. But aside from that, it seems like this episode is just gonna be centered around Karen and getting her help and trying to find the right doctor. I think episode 3 is the episode where Andy's supposed to be doing a deep dive into Dr. Cruz, the doctor we just seen on last night's episode. Supposed to be doing a deep dive to find out that he has a history of doing this stuff. I said, get him up out of here. I said, he got to go. They already showed Zach crying and stuff at the table, kicking stuff, and I was like, yeah, she's more than likely gonna lose one or both of the babies, y'all. I said, can you say lawsuit? Not only that, but he need to lose his doggone license. Ain't that what it's called? Medical license? Yeah, he need to lose that and go to jail. But yeah, that's how the synopsis and the trailer show. It's centered around Karen, them trying to search for a doctor, trying to talk to Dr. Cruz, all of them in the hospital room. I think they only showed, it was Fatima, Zach, Aaron, Miss Lisa, and I think Andy and the doctor. And they started trying to tell him, you know, something's wrong or whatever. Does Karen pass out? It looked like when Andy was calling for help, she passed out or something. I was like, you done messed up now, dude. You done messed up now. With y'all viewing last night's episode in regards to Karen, how do y'all feel now? Because I was reading some comments and some people had changed their mind. They were saying how, you know, at first they wanted her to lose the babies and stuff like this, but this was very triggering for them. And I say it's very triggering. If you ever experience something like this, not just in regards to, you know, being sick and in regards to pregnancy and stuff like that, but in general, if you went to a doctor and told them you was hurting or whatever the case may have been, and they dismissed it, and then it turned out even worse than it already was, and it don't even got to turn out even worse or whatever. It's just the fact that they dismissing you and they didn't take your pain seriously. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great rest of the day and be safe.